Alex Cole here with BobCAD-CAM. In this video, what I would like to talk about is cutter diameter compensation. So we're referring to 3-axis mills, and what exactly is cutter diameter compensation and how does it work? So I have a simple part on my screen here. It's a 2-inch by 2-inch rectangle. And if we're using a milling machine and we want to cut around this rectangle, if we took the tool and actually had the tool move with the center of that tool right on this geometry, then we would not end up with a rectangle that is 2 inches by 2 inches. So there's several different functions and ways that we can deal with that when we're programming CNC machines. So the first one that I'm going to look at is common to CAD-CAM software, and that is system compensation. So let's start by creating a feature, and we'll create a 2-axis feature. For my geometry, I'm going to select this rectangle. I'm going to set it to go clockwise and OK. So we only need one operation for this, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of our roughing operation and just leave a profile finish that goes around the outside. Now the tool that we're using is a 1/2-inch diameter flat end mill. So we'll just leave that with that 1/2-inch diameter tool. And what I want to do is I'm going to set our leads to parallel and just give us some lead ends that are going to come in off the part. And the focus area for this is going to be on this patterns page. So on this patterns page, we have two different options under our compensation group. And the top one is system compensation, and the bottom one is machine compensation. So let's look at system compensation first and see what that does. So if I turn system compensation off and I have machine compensation off, and we compute this tool path, then what happens is our tool will actually walk right around, being located right on the center of those of the line for that rectangle, the geometry that we selected. So when we cut this, we would actually end up with a square that's smaller than our geometry. And so how do we actually get on the outside of that? Well, notice I'm cutting in a clockwise direction. So this first move that I'm doing, I'm moving from left to right. And so when we get into our operation parameters and we look at that patterns page, the system compensation, if I set this to the left, so this is based on the cutting direction, the direction that the tool is moving, the system will move that tool either to the left or to the right. So let's select the left, which should put the tool on the outside of our square. So when I compute this tool path, from the top view, we can now see that the tool path is outside of my geometry. And it's outside by the radius, or half of the diameter of my tool. So when I now backplot this and I look at it, we can see that the tool is actually over and outside of that geometry, which ends right there. So, all right, so we're aligned out. We're aligned with the outside of our square. So if we look at the code, now again, this is a 2-inch by 2-inch square, and we're using system compensation. So what that means is that the CAD-CAM software itself is shifting the tool. So when we post and we look at this code, we'll notice that we're not moving the tool around by that kind of 1-inch by 1-inch shape, because our zero is at the center of our square, and so this would be this top left corner would be x -1, y +1, This corner would be X positive 1, Y positive 1. We would have the third corner would be Y minus 1, X positive 1. The fourth corner would be X minus 1, Y minus 1. And then back up to this corner, which again would be X minus 1 and Y positive 1. But if we look at this program, we can see that we're not going in those 1-inch dimensions. It's actually, we have X 1.25, and we are using a 1/2-inch diameter tool. So for the tool to be shifted so that the edge of the tool is running around this rectangle, it's automatically in the numbers being shifted by half of your tool diameter. Now this is good, but once you generate this program, if your tool is not that exact size, you would actually have to generate a new program that's based off of the actual size that your tool is cutting, and then load that into the machine tool and run that to be able to compensate for the fact that your tool is not cutting the exact size that we programmed it to. So if we go back into our operation and we look at the patterns page, the system compensation is changing the numbers in the G-code. So if I turn that off and we turn on left for machine compensation, what this is going to do, and you can see we have a G41 in this note as well. When I compute this one, my tool path goes right back to where it's exactly on that geometry. However, the G-code program we can see is also running right at X1, Y minus 1, X minus 1, Y positive 1, and then it does our little lead outs here. But we have this additional command in here, which is G41D1. And we're going to talk in terms of FANUC standard or Haas type G code. Different machine controllers and different machine manufacturers handle this a different way. We're going to stick to kind of FANUC standard. So what we do when you have machine compensation turned on, then the system is going to output the coordinates in the G code right on the geometry of the path that we want. And this command G41 is telling the controller that we want to shift that tool to the left. And when it shifts that tool, this D number is pointing to a register in the controller where the shift amount is going to be stored. And depending on your machine and depending on how it's configured, the value that you would input in that shift register might be a radius value, or it would be the actual full diameter value. And what happens is at the machine, when it actually steps through and runs that program, the machine itself will apply a shift that will move that tool to the outside. So if we simulate this, my stock is 2 inches by 2 inches square. And as this tool comes in and we step around, we can see the tool cuts around the outside shape, and it's not cutting that 2 inch by 2 inch square. That's because that compensation has been applied in the machine. But there's some special things to understand when you're using machine compensation. So I added two lead-in, like a lead-in line and a lead-out line to our toolpath on the leads page. And the lead-out length that I used was 1/4 inch. Well, our tool is a 1/2 inch, and half of our tool diameter is 1/4 inch. And most machine tools will require you to have a line or a line move where you're applying that shift of the tool. Like the maximum angle that they can apply that shift is 45 degrees. And in the scenario that we have right now, our lead-in line where we're applying that shift is exactly the radius of our tool, and that can lead to problems. You want to make sure that this lead-in line is longer than the radius of your tool so that that machine has plenty of time to shift that over. So if I set this at 1 inch and I compute, we can see that now we've got a much longer approach and exit from our profile. And it's going to be during this approach and exit where that shift gets applied, and so it'll gradually be applied to where on that lead, when it gets to the end of that lead, it'll be fully applied. And that's important to understand, that the machine has to have that linear move to be able to turn that shift on and get that tool shifted over. So we've talked a little bit about system compensation. Now, system compensation doesn't require these leads for it to apply that shift, because we actually just alter the number so that that tool goes to exactly where we want from the very beginning. But with machine compensation, you have to have that lead-in line so that the controller has a distance to apply that shift over. And if you don't have a lead line and you try to apply that compensation, then what would actually happen is it would get applied on that first edge of your part, and then your part itself is not going to be cut accurate. So you have to have a lead-in line when using machine compensation. So maybe some of you have heard the term wear compensation, and you're not quite sure what wear compensation is. So wear compensation is a way of running compensation on a machine tool that allows you to be able to have system comp turned on, where the CAD-CAM software has shifted for the tool based on the size that it's supposed to be. But then you also still turn on machine compensation, but then at the machine you leave that compensation value, that register that we talked about, is set to 0 in the controller, and then you can do a test cut on your part, and if you're not cutting to the right size, then you can use that offset register in the machine controller to make small adjustments. So you can put in a small value, like a couple thousandths of an inch, and have the system have the controller shift that tool so that you end up cutting the right size. The big difference is, because you're only shifting on the controller by a small amount, you don't have to have that long of a lead-in line. So if you're trying to keep your lead-in line, your lead-in and lead-out lines very short, you would be able to use wear compensation, because the system compensation is going to shift the numbers for the positions of where the tool is supposed to go so that it would cut to the right location. But then the wear compensation, just putting a small value in your controller for the cutter comp, is going to allow you to be able to make those fine adjustments to adjust for not cutting the right size based on issues with, maybe deflection of your tool, or maybe your tool's worn a little bit so it's not cutting the same size. Now, to do that in the CAD-CAM software, on the patterns page, you would simply just turn system compensation and machine compensation on at the same time. And when you post a program and generate the code, so we look at our NC program here, we can see that our X and Y coordinates are shifted by the radius of our tool, but we still also have that G41 being output into the code. So G41 is the command for cutter compensation left, and then G42 is the command for cutter compensation to the right. And what we're referring to here is cutter diameter compensation. So hopefully this helps you understand a little bit what cutter diameter compensation is and how it works. and kind of what some of these terms are that you may hear people talking about, or if our technicians are asking you questions. And I will be doing some other tool length compensation videos, so look for those videos so that you can get a solid understanding on what tool length compensation is, and also workpiece coordinates where your part origin is going to be on your machine tool. That's all for now.